I'm John Kramer with BevNET, and today we're here in Los Angeles at the offices of Juice Served here, and I'm joined with founder Alex Matthews. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely.
So you guys have, been at this for 3 years, I think, right?
We have.
And the model's kind of evolved from being basically, I think, a single store back in the day to now having, a bunch of components. Can you kind of just bring us up to speed on Juice Served here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been 3 years. I quit my 9-to-5 in September 2012. We started off with, the idea of putting together a brand that we felt was aspirational. I have a fashion background, and my business partner does as well. So we wanted to kind of create something that pulled from that sort of fashion background that we both have and apply that to the branding and aspirational nature of what was going to be Juice Served here. So we started off with one store in September 2013. So it took us about a year to put together the look and feel, the packaging, obviously the supply chain, and a small kitchen. And when I say small, I mean really small. And then we had one store, and then sort of roll the clock forward to today. We have 12 stores. We're just about to open our 13th and 14th store, which will see us opening 10 stores this year.
Wow.
And then we have moved from our kitchen into the facility that we're in today, which is a much bigger facility with much bigger capabilities than we started with. It's funny, actually, the time I walked into the first facility, I thought it was too big, and it was about 2,000 square feet. And I was like, I think this place is too big for us, but let's give it a go. And then, we quickly realized that,
Need a lot more space.
A lot more space, yeah. So luckily we found a building that sort of works for us today.
And you guys have kind of, you started out completely raw glass bottles. You now have an HPP line as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us just kind of, why you decided to do that? I mean, it seems like a lot of, there's just a lot of talk of like which way to go, and
right.
You're doing both.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started and we had one store, we were raw, and we were using the word raw actually in some of our social marketing, and we were like super proud of the fact we were raw. And then as anyone in the juice business will know, like as you start to sort of open more stores, which we did, we opened a couple of stores, 3 stores in 2013, 1 store in 2014, and then this year we've opened 10 stores. So we quickly realized that you can do that raw with your own store network, but we were getting a lot of inquiries from corporate customers and from some of the local sort of more upscale artisanal like grocery stores and a lot of hotels. And so we were basically saying no to these people. And we started to realize that there was possibly another revenue stream opportunity. So we started looking at how we would prolong, our shelf life without pasteurizing. And obviously HPP was there, but we looked at a bunch of different technologies. We looked at PEF technology, pulse electric field technology. We looked at that quite a long time. But we kept coming back to HPP because it's readily available. It's relatively easy in terms of the mechanics of it. So we just started our HPP line about 9 months ago, 10 months ago, and we've already managed to build somewhat of a substantial business doing that, as outside of the business that we have with our stores. So we're making juice anyway, so adding a different process in with HPP was for us fairly straightforward.
Well, that particular point I think is pretty interesting, in that it seems like for other brands that either don't want to go HPP or toil over the decision, I mean, you guys
Right.
developed a custom bottle which looks great to the point where I don't think you could tell the difference from far away between the glass bottle.
Right.
But I mean, how did you said it was straightforward. I mean, were there any sort of concerns about just maintaining the quality of the liquid? Like, what was the experience with it?
Yeah, I mean, we spent, well, the first thing that you worry about if you're raw is the, you know, visual, odor, flavor, like, are all those things going to change? And we were actually really shocked that, like, our best-selling juice tasted exactly the same. We were all actually, most of us were thinking it was not going to be as good. The same with a couple of other citrus-based juices that we have. We all were like, these are going to taste, you know, maybe watered down, or there's not going to be the same experience. But we were actually really surprised. In fact, some of the flavor profiles, the HPP pulled forward some of the flavors, and in other flavors, it actually did pull back. So we had to make some very minor adjustments to our recipes.
Gotcha. And I guess as far as, you know, just the business model that you guys have, you know, it seems like in LA and I guess everywhere, there's kind of, you know, a million different ways that people have taken these juice businesses, be it, you know, as sort of quick serve restaurants, as, you know, these sort of health and lifestyle coaching places, or just places that sell juice. You know, what was sort of behind, you know, the approach that you guys have, which I guess as an outsider, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems sort of more focused on, you know, an experience and an aesthetic that you have in mind than, you know, I guess it being sort of, again, about food or lifestyle or anything.
Right. I think the stores have become the ultimate sort of statement about who we are. You know, so that's why we want to continue to open our stores, because they're like the living, breathing sort of part of our brand. But it's so hard to tell that story when you see like a juice on a shelf next to a ton of other brands. Sure. You know, your label. So cramming all of what I've described onto a label on the front of a juice is a bit more tricky than, you know, sort of when you're in the store, you're engorged by the experience, you know, that we're presenting, and it's easy. But when you lift it out and you place it sort of next to other brands, then that's when you really have to do your homework. And
so you don't really want to be in a grocery store right now, I guess is what you're saying.
Grocery stores are not at the top of our list. I think that we recognize the opportunity there, and I'm inspired by the successes that I've seen with other juice brands and what's going on in the space. It's inspiring to me that there's still big deals getting done. And sure. So, but for us, you know, we've been kind of cultivating relationships that are not grocery stores, and we've been trying to carve our own path, and having success there with some really good vertical markets, as opposed to the grocery stores. So
hotels and stuff like that.
Hotels are huge. The big catering companies are huge. We also see tons of potential with airlines. You know, with airports. We talked earlier about that. You know, but I think there's so many other avenues that are not grocery stores where you can cultivate that, you can stay true to your culture and stay true to what we do. Like, for example, we do business with the Soho House, and, you know, they put our juices on their menu. They're proud that they're serving our juices, so much so that on their printed menus in all of their restaurants, our logo and our name and our juice names are on their menu. So for us, like, it's another sort of reinforcement that we're doing something that is culturally a little bit different. There's a lot of untapped markets, but we don't feel hemmed in. In fact, we feel quite a lot of freedom. The relationship, one of the things for us that's been a real win is the relationship between coffee and juice is getting big. And obviously, the Starbucks evolution thing kind of made that point. They've made it in a different way to how I think the market's going to go. I think for us, we have a store we opened in downtown LA, and we serve Verve Coffee there, which is a really well-respected brand from Santa Cruz, and we basically are serving full coffee, and it's good, you know, third wave coffee, and our juices side by side, and that store just happens to be our best store. So we're taking some lessons from that, and, you know, the traditional sense of walking into a space and be met with just a cooler and juices in it. for me, I think that if I was just doing that, yes, we would definitely feel like it's a crowded space, but the reality is that that's not what we're doing. We're trying to push it forward, and I think the coffee relationship is going to be a big one.
There you go. Well, it's been an impressive 3 years so far, so
Thank you.
best of luck. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.